Okay, here we go. We have a match of Desert Cup on Arabia with Jaegerman in the, what do you call this? Purple? Let's call it purple. Jaegerman in the play in purple, playing as Magyars, and Degaussed in the blue, playing as Vikings. So, interesting matchup. It's both of them strong archer civs, but Magyars with the cab archers especially, but Vikings with less mobility. But knights are decent in cast stage, but in the late game that's not really an option. And Magyars, we could have so many options to open it. They get the, once they reach feudal, they get the +1 attack for the infantry and cavalry line, so they could, you usually see them opening scouts, but you could also see them opening men at arms and getting good value with that extra 1 attack you get for free. So response are somewhat close actually. I'm looking a bit at Jaegerman's map here. It's pretty open, but there are woodlands. It should be possible to wall off and secure it. Doesn't have any resources in the back though, so we'll need to do some creative walling here or just go very much aggressive like we've seen him do in some games as well. Well, on the Ghost side, he has a backstone. He has his main gold in the back-ish, also a secondary gold here. It's a bit of a far stretch to wall all the way to the side here, but he should be able to secure his main gold, I presume. And maybe slightly more closable map on all sides except this southeastern-ish side here. So let's just see how it plays out. So winter counts are dead even. We know that Vikings get a stronger eco from feudal age onwards because they get wheelbarrow and handcart for free, so that could play into the Vikings players' favor in the late game. We'll just have to see how it progresses. But very little, if any, idle time for players. The Ghost actually slightly ahead in villager production now. Let's just fast forward a bit and see what the feudal age will bring here. So, pretty sure we will see Daniel opening with some kind of, the Ghost opening with some kind of infantry play here. It could be Drush or men at arms. Very nice placement of the mill here, right next to the barrack because the hunt is also right here. So, and he's already the barracks from Jaegerman. So, Jaegerman producing some militia here, is sending at least. Okay, let's slow down. Alright, that's 3 militia going forward, and the Ghost barracks is not even up yet, so this could be easily denied, unfortunately. So, I don't know what they're laughing about. Maybe someone lost a scout or something. Yeah, I believe so. It's 1 kill for the Degaussed, so that has to be Jaegerman scouts running right into his TC. So that makes life a bit more difficult for Jaegerman because he doesn't have that much intel, but he knows the main goals, he knows where to hit. The barriers are right there. He's delaying the barracks a lot here from the Degaussed. So a very good forward for the Degaussed. I think he actually has to just abandon the idea of infantry forward here. He could of course force a barracks up for defensive purposes, but let's just reach field age and go for... Well, he will need a barracks anyway, but then it will be mainly to be able to construct an archery range later on. I don't believe he will make militia or men-at-arms on his own to defend against this. Well, look at Jaegerman actually using his sheep to scout the far edges of the map. It makes sense since he lost his scout, so I kind of appreciate that play. This could actually be the Degaussed sheep, I'm not sure. But here's the range going up for the Degaussed. I think he didn't lose any villagers here. So that's actually good, but that's of course some wood lost in this barracks going down and being completely delayed, which delays basically all of the game. The Jaegerman about to reach field age though with pretty much the same population as the Degaussed, so I would say that Jaegerman has succeeded in causing idle time on the Degaussed side here. So it's a double range and blacksmith going up for the Degaussed. That suggests some extended feudal play here. Yeah, once he gets some archers out, he should be able to easily clean up this rush and remove that annoyance factor here. So what's Jaegerman up to at home? He's adding a stable now. Could he be aiming for some kind of quicker castlage play here? He doesn't have any gold at all because of the infantry forward, so it could also be scouts coming. Forcing quick walls here from the Degaussed. This needs to be quick wall, otherwise this militia will get in, but they can also be fought back by villagers, obviously. But there's some, yeah, bit of an idle time, more idle time here for the Degaussed. And there he takes the fight, yeah. So then one villager will go down here, but that same can be said about Jaegerman's militia. That's great value for the militia, although. So, and scouts being produced in the stables now, which is very good awareness there to go for the scouts and the mobility now, because he knows that the Degaussed isn't fully wall at all and he's causing so much idle time here. Now in the villager lead, the Degaussed's economy is not set up for reaching Castle Age anytime soon, so I believe we will see Jaegerman reaching Castle Age first here. Some scouts running in now. I don't know why they're running here, because that's obviously closed off. Yeah, he's tasking them around. The militia going down to archers here, but with this one extra attack on the scouts, which he gets for free, it could actually easily challenge these unfleshed archers. But there's a spear added as well, so that's good awareness by the Degaussed, adding the spear in, so the scouts will pose less of a threat here. They could focus on some archers still, since there is no fleshing for the Degaussed, but the spear makes it harder. But it looks like he wants to use the mobility here, and he wants to run in. He should be hitting the gold, I think, now to impede the archer production more. He sees the quick wall, so he just dodges away. Jaegerman with the advantage of being untouched at home though, but he must have had some idle time as well, because their villager counts are now the same here. This should be possible for the Jaegerman to get a snipe here though. I think he might get this villager, and one scout goes down to DC fire, but that's another villager down for the Degaussed. Putting Jaegerman in the villager lead again, but there loses another scout here. So a bit of constant annoyance, and there is his Castle Age click, and what's equal like for the Degaussed here is certainly able to sustain archer production here, but the fruit count will potentially cause idle TC. No, maybe not, but he will need a lot of more farms or other types of food income to get to the Castle Age itself. So once Jaegerman reaches Castle Age, that's going to put the Degaussed a lot on the back foot here. Looks like he wants to go for a bit of a forward here now, maybe. I think that would be a good play. I don't think he can know that Alright, apparently the Degaussed scout is dead as well. So he doesn't really have much intel on his opponent. He's completing some walls now, going forward some archers, but where are they going to hit? They need to find... I think the gold might be a good spot here. That will force Jaegerman's army all the way around, and he could take a one of gold, making archer or whatever army production in Castle Age a bit harder. Now fletching is in as well, which it should be when you're sending archers forward. Jaegerman with the scout forward again, but that's not really going to do much now, and I think Degaussed will have his walls up any moment. Castle Age for Jaegerman. That's gonna make things a bit more complicated for the Degaussed, because you don't really need a lot of knights to clean up this whole army, maybe even a siege workshop. Let's see what Jaegerman does. Could be some siege workshop would be overcompensation here. He's adding a TC instead, which is certainly gonna make it difficult for archers to do damage. There are some skirms out here. They have fletching as well. There's a knight. I believe the Degaussed doesn't know that the backside is open here, otherwise he could get some nice hits in. He does successfully take Jaegerman of gold though, and this is the only gold that Jaegerman has inside of his walls. But these knights are... They do get the +2 attack for free, so they're certainly challenging archers forwards. Any reinforcements for the Degaussed is kind of out of the question here, and even 3 knights will pose difficulties here. But that's quite a few, that's 4 spears, and even without upgrades, that's enough to hold off 3 knights, I think. So Jaegerman wisely backs off. They go to the military lead, but he's still not up to Castle Age. It should happen any moment now. So unless Jaegerman goes for a heavy forward, Jaegerman goes for a heavy forward now, the Degaussed should be able to get crossbow in if he manages to keep this army alive, and that's gonna be to his favor. A little bit of scouts now. Look, even double palisades from the Degaussed now. That's, I mean, it's a wise resource management there. If you have the wood to spare, why not secure your base even more? Seeing your opponent does not go for ranged units at the moment. There is a range here, so cavalry archers are still an option for Jaegerman if he wants to, but for now he doesn't go for it. Will they break in? I think they will, yeah. I don't think... oh, there's a bit... Oh, I didn't see that bit there. It's quick walling grinder, so good. Quick walls keeping the knights out for now. Maybe a house wall will be the play now, I think, just to keep them out even a bit more. Yeah, the Degaussed brings his archers back, and he should be able to... with some further quick walling. Oh, and the knights are in. Okay. So now it's crucial to try and micro a bit and focus down these knights now, send the spears forward like it does, and lose few, if any, archers before crossbow kicks in. Once these guys become crossbows, that's gonna be an easy cleanup. But the wall here needs to be completed, or else Jaegerman can just run in with more knights that are already running forward here. Some nice quick walling here though, keeping... Wow, secures everything but one villager here, and crossbow on the way. There's still these 26 archers with... There we have crossbow, okay, and they also have Buck and arrow now, so this should be an easy cleanup. There's still an opening here though, the spears. Maybe the Degaussed could consider Should consider the pikeman upgrade now, unless he has already... oh, he hasn't picked it. And Jaegerman preemptively adding siege at home, knowing that the crossbows will at some point be going forward most likely. And even with the constant pressure that Jaegerman has been applying, he has extended his boom to 2 TCs, which means he's taking a lead in eco-wise over the Vikings player, who is still at 1 TC, but now dropping his second. Pikeman is in, also with the +1 defense, so this means the Knights will need to back off, but now they are trapped inside the Gauss space here, so I assume that they will be going down very soon here. One now. They get one last villager though. There was even a weak one here, but forward is cleaned up and the Ghost is safe for now. I think at this point, as long as well, there's siege in play now, but as long as your own opponent is going for Knights and mountain units like this, maybe you would even consider stonewalling at home to reboom and get things back together. But now that's not an option for the Gauss at the moment because he's been adding 2 TCs and not mining stone this far, so there's no stone for walls just yet. Keeping the military numbers up though, but now there is a castle being dropped for Jaegerman. He has elite skirms and 2 mangonels here. Should be able to challenge this army, although there's quite a few crossbows here now. It's 28 crossbows with what are the upgrades like? They are yeah, even the defense is in. But there's disturbingly little scouting intel for the Gauss on his opponent's base at the moment, so we don't really know where to hit just yet. He does probably know about this goal, but from his scouting he can't really know if there's another secure goal further back. So, but this would be the spot, still be the spot to hit, I think. But now there's a castle protecting this secondary goal here, so it's going to be a tough task to keep Jaegerman completely off goal now. Jaegerman, however, probably doesn't see this forward until it's there, which is good news for the Gauss. This is only, well, that's 10 elite skirms here, so it's not it's a fight you could take, but it's a fight you shouldn't necessarily take, even with superior numbers like this. So Jaegerman, however, doesn't see the siege workshop going up, so that could be bad news, but there are some light cab here as well that could handle potential siege. Oh, actually, double siege workshop for the Ghost. This is pretty investing pretty heavily in the offense here. Look at the starting spawns as well. This is quite close, I would say, between these two players. So this hill is very nice of the Ghost to assume this hill, whereas Jaegerman has taken this other hill, obviously protecting this gold. But if the Ghost is able to rake in here, we could see some real damage being done to Jaegerman as well. And the Ghost now with Viking Eco and 3 TCs producing, as opposed to Jaegerman adding his 3rd TC now, the Ghost is actually in the villager lead now. So the Ghost sees the Magdalene, dodges away with the pikes, and spread out the archers nicely, but here's some 2 mangonels in the back here, and that's going to be tough to fight back, because the Ghost doesn't have any knights. He has the pikes, obviously, that could focus down the mangonel, but there's always the risk of being hit on the way there. So, quite a few elite skirms in the mix as well, so here's some micro needed, and a mangonel shot here would be very juicy. So, weakening the elite skirms here. But in enters the light cab as well, and they will likely go straight for the mangonel again. Nice mangonel micro from the Jaegerman there as well, picking off one of the most freshly produced on the siege workshop. And it's gonna go. Takes a long while to produce a mangonel, so you want to keep them alive either by repairs or microing, moving them away, or just waiting for a few more before you launch the attack. But Jaegerman's light cab actually cleaning up some crossbows here. Pretty impressive play. There were of course elite skirms in the mix as well. So looks like a tough. Jaegerman seems to be a tough opponent to push because he knows exactly what kind of counters you need to send in at the right moment, and his armor management is really impressive, I would say, because he's been fighting off quite a large chunk of crossbows now with light cab and not a huge amount of elite skirms and of course a few mangonels. The Gauss with a very huge eco lead now, but Jaegerman is not losing nearly as many units, so he actually even got the rest to click to imp now, should he feel like it. And I think he just did, yeah. And now the Magyar is also out as well. Fantastic raiding unit, and it just melts siege, and now there's 4 mangonels out for Jaegerman, and it should only be a matter of time before he breaks in. Good awareness from the Degaussed here, knowing about the mangonels, putting up a defensive castle near the most likely or nearest breakthrough point, but unfortunately there's a hole to the side here, and there's a chance that this castle might not go up if the mangonels can get there in time. Magyar Hussars and Knights running around, but the Degaussed doing a nice job at keeping them out here. He can force some delays here, but if these mangoes get some shots in on the builders, but the castle goes up, and all of these mangonels, 2 of these mangonels will now go down to Castle Pride, I believe. And the GG is called. So even with a significant villager lead in the end, there's just too many deaths for the Degaussed to reproduce in time, and he was also under constant pressure and making all the right decisions, I would say, maybe just slightly too late in terms of the way that Jaegerman made his forwards. And that could come down to a bit of lacking of scouting intel. I believe the Degaussed lost his scout, so he didn't see the stable. He didn't know about the scouts that came in late feudal age before they were actually in his base, I believe. At least I don't think so. And then you need to. Then you're kind of already on the back foot, right? So, but good game, good play, and the Degaussed with a very nice brewing after all this pressure, actually ending up with a huge villager lead here. So if not for this little hole here, I think you would be able to hold on for much longer. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad, the Ghost. It was just these typical unlucky holes that happens to everyone, and yeah, maybe in slight scout awareness. Yeah, that rush was for sure annoying. I'll give you that. Update the score here. So browse a bit through the stats here as well. GG. So let me just switch the screens here before going on to the next game. So we're moving on to the Degaussed home map, which will be Sahara. just gonna add some commands in here before I start it. I'm gonna put the saves in as well, and then we're good to go. So here we go with game 2 of Degaussed versus Jaegerman. Degaussed in the blue again has picked Mayans for his Civ on Sahara. And Sahara map with woodlines scattered all throughout the edges of the map. You have some close to your TC, some good woodlines here, and then for more you need to expand to the sides. Then there's a Sahara desert terrain in the middle here with almost no resources on it. There's a little bit of wood, and then you have what I presume are your starting piles of resources somewhat close to your base, but also close to hills, so they could be denied by different sorts of armies, and also some resource piles scattered here and there on the sides. So the Ghost, all of his resources seem pretty far away here. His main goal is just way over here, but at least that's far in the back, so that's one wall here and a little bit of here. Then you have at least your main goal secured, even though it's far. If you your TC, this should be very difficult to deny with archer fire or anything. But at least berries and stone in the back. Backstone could be nice for Mayans if you want to go for the plumed archers approach and go for the castles. And you always want to go for stone on this map for defensive castles to secure resource spots like this. A bit of lucky sheep spawn here for the Ghost, since that's pretty far away from his TC, and it's just barely missed it here. But then there's also other ways to get resources, bringing in some hunt or stuff like that. Jaegerman almost laning some deep here, but Gauss stops it in time, takes a fight here. And HP wise, this should be the Gauss fight if it comes to that. Since the Gauss got 2 hits in first. So he goes for the chase, but I believe in Dark Age the Scout Cavalry will outrun the Eagle anyway, and they end up with same amount of HP, but unfortunately the Eagle can be, if needed, garrisoned inside the TC and get some HP back. Now let's move on to Jaegerman's map here. He has a very nice back gold here, although much more wider open area on his what's the left side of the screen here. With the wall here, and this back wall should be pretty decently secured. He goes for the back woodland first here, which is a wise choice, and house here probably starting a wall in something like this to begin with. Jaegerman just picked Burmese, which is classified as monk and elephantine, is it? Monk and elephantine, but they also have infantry, extra attack, and lumbercamp upgrades are free. They are actually very versatile, nice civilization overall, but you don't really see them picked a lot. So that's other than on arena for monk and siege crush and that kind of stuff. At least I don't see Burmese picked a lot more than once. Maybe not. I feel Mayans is a better choice on a map like this with so many hills and the distance between players for the mobility of the potential of the Eagle raids. But I'm curious to see how Jaegerman will play this. He certainly has the option to go infantry with the extra attack for H. That could again be a very powerful opening, but the Ghost is already in the process of walling here. He probably doesn't want to be subjected to a drush like in the last game, so he wants to be better safe than sorry and just get the walls up as early as possible. The priority should be this section though, I think, because that's where if there an infantry opening is coming, this is where it's going. Oh, where was the... Okay, so these are the Ghost sheep then? Really. Sneaky move from Jaegerman picking up what I presume was the furthermost sheep here. So leaving the Mayan player with a bit of less food to work with. However, Mayans, they do get extra +5 resources. The resources last longer, so losing a few starting sheep is less of a disaster for Mayans than for generic saves with no bonus, eco bonus. So Barracks going up for Jaegerman again. Is he going to produce militia already? Or will we see a Man-at-Arms play here? He is only... he's got 3. Oh, there he goes, Jaegerman Scout. Nice pick off for Degaussed there. That blinds his opponent a bit more and he starts walling instead. Maybe he's abandoned the idea of going for an early forward here. He could... That's my signature move. Nice. That's so nice that we get to see in-game chat here. Yeah, the Ghost is going to be fully walled, so if Jaegerman's scouting is very limited now, so from his scouting he would assume that his opponent is still open, so he could be, looks like he could be going for some kind of, this could actually be a scout build, but it's happening too late, so it's probably not. 23 pop would also suggest straight archers, but he's not on gold yet. So I'm curious to see what Jaegerman's plan is here. The Ghost being fully walled is going for a higher pop up. He is not kicking up yet and is now at 27 pop total. So we could be looking at a 28 pop fast castle here. Should he be allowed to. Bit of fast forwarding and now to see what will happen in fuel age. So there's fuel in for, there's no military production for Jaegerman. So he's abandoned the idea of an early rush, but there's the blacksmith. He could actually be able to go to cast station not soon, but I would be very surprised if the Ghost isn't the first one to click up here, considering he went up with higher population and is now on 32 and very soon to be clicking up here. Even garrisoning to get through to click up here. Jaegerman with the market, he is 1 villager behind, is 2 behind the population because the Ghost still has his scouts. So the Ghost is up and so is Jaegerman actually, but with in the end 1 less villager. So only 3 in gold, so it's not going to be the typical monks and siege push here, I think. Because in that case he would have needed more gold overall early on, I believe. So apart from the barracks here, there's just no military production for Jaegerman just yet. That could of course be said about the Ghost as well. But the Ghost with 1 range producing archers, probably going to be straight into crossbows in cast stage, and I'm very surprised to see that the cast stage uptimes are so close, considering Jaegerman went up at 23 pop only. So that's, I believe that Jaegerman intended to do some early fuel age pressure, but then losing his scout and seeing the walls going up, he likely had to adapt. That's my 2 cents there, that he just, no, I'm just going to go straight for cast stage instead and save these army resources. So Jaegerman going more heavily on food than his opponent. He's getting supplies already, and unless he cancelled it, I think he actually cancelled supplies. What does Jaegerman do though? He doesn't. He lost his scout, so he has no idea what his opponent is up to. One thousand going down. So he's going for the boom approach here for now. Seems kind of dangerous. I mean, he could be hit at any point now by... There's supplies going in again, by the way, so he might have casted it for villager or other means of production, but still no army for Jaegerman. Degaussed with now 6 archers, I believe, and getting town watch and more archers in production. No crossbow as of yet. His food eco isn't sustaining much more than the 2 TC builder production now, from what I can tell. But there are 2 ranges producing archers now, so I believe the Ghost should be moving forward. Of course, you can't know that his opponent is just going for the boom here. You would expect your opponent to have some military as well by now, considering the barracks is up. But this would definitely be the moment to push to punish your opponent's boom while he still doesn't have any military out of his own. Jaegerman actually with the villager lead here, it's still only, well, it's still 2 TCs, but third going down for the Degaussed now. Same could be said about Jaegerman, so the Degaussed also had some idle TC time here. Maybe a bit off on the food production from farms to sustain both TCs at once and not having a market to adjust the eco to support it. The Ghost to the population, he has 16 military now, and the opponent doesn't have any. Jaegerman actually adding another barracks, maybe he's suspecting the Eagles already, or is just preparing for it. I know Jaegerman likes his infantry pushes, but that's also a nice preemptive play against the Eagles that you will likely see at some point raiding. Oh, you messed up the start a little bit, okay. Yeah, that explains it. So a castle foundation placed here for the Degaussed. This wants to secure the golds and stones here. I guess that's a decent castle. Maybe more in the middle of them both would be even better. I'm not... It's just my 2 cents. But I guess it reaches the stone as well, so should be fine. The Ghost Eagle going forward to look for some... What's the one is doing? Oh no, this is just auto-scout at work. Auto-scouting. Nice feature, you get to know all of the resource placement all across the map. Doesn't take you any effort other than activating it and keeping your scout alive, obviously. Which the Ghost has done. As for Jaegerman, no auto-scouting because he lost his initial scout, and the initial scout is the only one with auto-scouting possibilities. So 3 barracks up now for Jaegerman. He's researching Lone Swordsman. So this basically negates the Ghost's possibility of going Eagles at this point, but who cares? So only has crossbows out for now, and that's gonna be an easy puzzle. Although, okay, it wasn't an option to place the castle in the middle, I see. Well, for now this looks good for the Ghost, because Jaegerman is going for the infantry approach, and the only army in the Ghost that's out at the moment is crossbows. So whatever Jaegerman sends of his army forward now, that's just going to be picked off by these crossbows. So yeah, the Ghost going for a forward now. No precise scouting in the old base. You will see this TC, I assume. This might be a expectation bug. So it should be easy to break in here, but Jaegerman with his TC is so closely placed together that actually makes it so much harder for the archers to do some significant damage here. It should be able to pick off some farmers here and everyone. That's 2 wheels down already. But it needs to dodge DC fire here, and the Ghost realizes it's best just to pull out for now. I don't understand Jaegerman's play right now either. So he's seen the archers now, so he's put up an archery range here, so I think we'll be seeing... he's getting fletching and armor. He could add crossbows in his own, but he's going straight for the elite skirm here and dropping another range. So Jaegerman being forced on the defensive now. But Degaussed, I think, desperately needs some siege forward now. Just to drop a workshop somewhere here and push the DCs. He does have the eco to sustain both archer and siege production by now, and mostly still longswords for Jaegerman. Yeah, the skirms are bad. Are they though? What's the? Oh, of course they're missing the missing the Castle Age armor. I do get bracer later though. So they get the range at all. Yeah, they only get the feudal armor. But Jaegerman is just totally determined on this longswords play here. So with Vermees, Jaegerman who had so many options. He could even get a castle up at some point and go for the Iron Bar, which is a fantastic mobile unit with an attack bonus against buildings. Fantastic raiding unit if you can get the castles up to produce, but for the moment, no castle for Jaegerman, so that's not an option. The Gauss now going for relics as well for that extra gold income, so already been gathering to relics, but now the siege workshop for Jaegerman, he has quite a few skirms out now. 10 skirms and the longswords as well, and there's not really much archers will do for the Gauss here. You need some siege support. Yeah, the improved archers as well, which is nice to mix in for their speed and mobility. But there's not really. Maybe the back here is potentially the only place archers could hit and still be kind of safe now. But then there's always the skirms. The archers running right into skirms here. This has really been a not very eventful game so far. There's quite a mass of archers now for the Gauss, though he could, if it weren't for the skirms, he could likely focus down his Myzel with just some splits and shooting here, but I think he will take some losses here, yeah. And all of these skirms, that's a really bad fight for the Ghost here. I think he needs to back off. Hills would help a little bit here. He pulls away. Adding some more archers here, Monk as well. But if he has a redemption, he could convert the siege as well, but the siege workshop is added, although pretty far behind. It's going to take the siege some time to move forward here. Oh, and a real unlucky shot here for a really great shot for Jaegerman here, taking out so many archers. Well, you never add siege. Well, you should. So suddenly, with the Ghost archer numbers going down, the longswords of Jaegerman is starting to look more scary here. There's still a castle protecting here, but then the longswords could break in at other places. And longswords, siege, and potentially some monks. That could be a really nice push possibility for Jaegerman here. Another pretty bad fight here for the Degaussed, I would say. Jaegerman even splits his skirms, so you need to focus both here and there, but this is just outnumbered here by skirms. It's 24 skirms, or 22 skirms to 18 archers, so it's definitely not a fight to take. Nice addition on the second castle here though. You could increase Bloom's production, it covers this stone as well. This Mangabell almost gets a hit on Jaegerman's Mangabell, but Jaegerman has 2 long swords. And yeah, the military numbers of Jaegerman is beginning to look pretty scary now. It's 46 military to 22 for the Degaussed, and that's almost 2 Mangabells down for 1 for Jaegerman, so that's great value there. So just, oh, and the Degaussed even hits his own archers with the Mangabell when Jaegerman runs in, and he's now down to 3 military against 39. And how do you come back from this? I'm not sure. He has his base secured. He's on 4 TCs now, but there's no army to fight back now. Jaegerman just floating so much resources. He hasn't even bothered to click imp yet, even though he could have done long ago. He's just banking resources and not spending them at all. The wolf actually float quite a few resources, but the only one producing, or the one producing the most is the Degaussed float. Yeah, imagine the Degaussed if you had gone forward to push your opponent and add some siege at maybe minute 20 or 21 or whatever. You would have, I think you simply would have won the game because he didn't have any army. He would have to scramble some defenses, and you knew already that he had lost his scout. So he wouldn't know whatever you brought forward against him. He would have, if you scouted his barracks, you would not go eagles because he would be prepared for that, but he literally wasn't prepared for anything. So, but I certainly know the feeling going too passive and going for the boom and the eco approach, that when your opponent goes for army numbers like this and succeeds in managing them well, in addition to that, then you just puts you in a really bad position. So Jaegerman is 60% imperial village. He's adding a castle here, which will certainly produce trebs, and he will be well ahead of the Degaussed into imp. So even though he needs to attack uphill for these castles, I think he would be able to push easily with this kind of defense, becoming a trap. See barracks added for the Degaussed now though, which kind of makes sense, but there are long swordsmen on the field, so I think he... Did you get a unique tech for the eagles already in the Degaussed, or no? Eldorado, that's an imp tech. Okay, so we need to wait for imp for that one. And also the Degaussed doesn't see the castle going up here, so suddenly there will be traps on the field, taking him maybe a bit by surprise. Oh, and more Magna shots going in there. The KDs aren't all that different, mind you. But Jaegerman is just floating so much more resources overall because he's been adding trash, not gold units as much, and he's queuing 2 traps, and the Degaussed isn't imp yet. But there are eagles in production, so if traps are added, the eagles can snipe the traps even at the gold and food cost that provides. Let's see. So many doomed crossbows, yeah, indeed. And even fighting from uphill here, it's just so tough to fight back these numbers. With 35 skirms, you would likely need 50 crossbows to take a decent fight there without siege. But now 2 traps are out. I believe this castle will go down in the end because there aren't enough villagers repairing it. And long swords are already here to fight the eagle warriors coming for the trap. So they might get one trap here, and I think it's the right decision to try and go for the traps, but the longswords just make it impossible. And Jaegerman cloaking so many resources now, he can just send these guys right on cast fire and not care too much about it. Because now he's really in the position to push. These 200 swordsmen even get extra attack being from the Burmese bonus, and now they are champions. 3 traps now, more eagles coming into the Degaussed. I believe they could have tried for a raid instead, because well, obviously they won't know that it's open over there, but that could have been an option with the eagles' mobility, but they are not even elite, so they shouldn't be fighting these masses here, I believe. I wouldn't say it's clued as the Genox, but maybe it was stressed out in this game, and yeah, these things can happen. Desperation indeed. Now it's just a matter of time before Jaegerman breaks in, and to look very much like Jaegerman's game. The traps will go down here to Eagles though, so that's a good elite Eagles now actually. Also with the unique tech from Mayans giving them extra HP. They still can't challenge Burmese champions obviously, but now it looks like the Degaussed might be considering going forward for a raid. Okay, taking a decent fight here. Could easily take the skirms as well now. So again, the eagle switch is a good one, but it's just happening a bit too late, I believe. I'm in the chat, don't be mean. Yeah, exactly. I would really like to see these eagles going forward for some raids and getting some damage in. Which I think is the way for the Degaussed to get really back into the game. He has a much larger boom, and Jaegerman, however, is floating so much resources, so it's going to be tough to come back from, I think. Yeah, the Degaussed is actually floating quite a few resources as well, so it seems like both players kind of struggle to keep their production going with the amount of resources they have in stock. So I think the Degaussed could go for a siege ram here, since he has the food and wooden gold to sustain that. But he also needs more arbalasts to deal with the champions here. Some eagle raids going forward. I need to handle these champions first. It looked like a decent fight for a moment there, but then there were suddenly more champions on the other end there, and most of the eagles go down to the champions even before they can get to his opponent's base, unfortunately. It was a nice raid attempt there, but didn't work out in the end. At the military count as well is not very uplifting for the Degaussed side, considering he's now down to less than half of his opponent's military count. Keeps adding more production, adding some ranges now as well, and the resources might be running a bit low on gold. That's eagles are certainly gold costly as compared to champions. But looks like he's trying to go for a raid as well. That's the good thing about eagles, at least they can outrun the champions, so If he's just able to get in, he could make some... he really desperately needs to make some damage to his opponent here now. And finally the Eagles are in, but I believe it's too late looking at Jaegerman still floating these kinds of resources. He can afford another castle. He will take losses here, but so is Daniel in his home base, and I think Daniel has lost more overall here. And even a forward castle from Jaegerman now, because he is in the pushing position. I think it's the right move to deny more stone and resources from the mine player. And considering the resource, well, he is kind of low on gold, but there's still neutral gold to be taken here and there. And with the position Jaegerman is in, it's definitely right to continue his forward and just get your opponent out of the game. And these champions will also easily be able to take out TCs, even with villagers garrisoned inside them. And the GG is called. So nice set here, and it comes down to decision making in the end. Both players were playing really passively from Dark Age all the way up into the cast stage, although I think Jaegerman was considering some feudal offense, but then he realized his opponent was full walling so early, and he just abandoned the idea, did his 23 pop feudal, and then went straight to castle from there. But considering how passive Jaegerman was and that Degaussed went up at nearly the same time to Castle H, this was definitely Degaussed moments to push. So, good game. Some earlier aggression, maybe just staying on one TC as Degaussed himself suggested, could pay off really well for him in this situation, because his opponent was just so passive for a long while here. Fantastic. Pretty insane KD for Jaegerman here. 424 to 174. Considering he added skirms and champions, mostly some siege. And largest army 123. So more economy, more resource collected from the mines is expected, and also considering the many more units lost. It's very nice economy management from the Ghost still. But the decisions in the end working in Jaegerman's favor, that they were both so much on the passive side until the final pushes came in. Right. So it's time to move on to the next set. That's gonna be Myzel versus Lightcorbo. Stick around if you want to. I'm gonna take a quick break here. Okay, here we go with the next tent. We have Lightcorbo in the purple, playing as Hans. And in the green we have Myzel playing as his ever-favored Aztecs. So we see Myzel play Aztecs a lot, especially for the first game on Arabia. Probably because it's really comfortable playing that civ and loves their monk options, probably extra really cold, who knows. We generally see Myzel picking and winning with Aztecs a lot. So look at the maps here. So the back gold here for Lightcorbo, but this massive open area here, which actually isn't too well when you're playing as the Huns, because they're in the civ as a whole. It really invites to constant aggression. You need to push and push and push, because you don't need to build houses, so you can't quick hold with houses either. But the fact that you don't need to build any houses and you save that wood early game allows for more consistent and constant military push. Myzel placing his 3 starting houses here, starting up with only 1 house actually, and he's. I think Myzel, he plays differently every game. You will always see at least 1 monk in his games, no matter the civ, but other than that, it's just very original playing and different strategy each game he plays. So he can really put players ranked much higher than himself off guard as well. So he's already on the forward. He's found some deer, so he's very close to finding his opponent now. He will probably already notice that prairies are quite forward and that the map as a whole is very open for Lightcorbo. You should stay clear of the TC fire here, but no garrison for Lightcorbo, so Myzel's scout is just fine. Let's have a look at Lightcorbo's scouting here. He's only covering his own base for now. I think he has found, yeah, pretty much everything he needs. Of course, always nice to have a back safe goal like this. And now pushing in some deer. Already kind of suggests scouts opening here from Lightcorbo, going heavily on the food. Now going to berries as well. I believe, yeah, he's only taking 1 boar. He's gonna go for the second one anytime soon, and he's also ahead from Myzel with actually 2 builders. So I don't know, maybe Myzel lost 1 builder, or he's just had some idle time. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit to see what kind of fuel action this game will bring. Over now, going for fuel age, getting the barracks up. This is all looking very much like in the scouts play. Myzel realizing, we will realize this very soon. We'll already start walling in Lightcorbo's direction, and let's see if he can keep the scouts of Lightcorbo out once they are in the stables, and Myzel only 20% fuel for now, so he seems to be going more for a fast castle approach with 26 pop for the moment. Lightcorbo nicely dodging some castle fire, but his scout is in to gather some scouting intel on his opponent's side, and he will likely be able to get the scouts in on the downside area. If he spots this walling villager in time, he will be able to get in himself. He's actually moved out here for now, which means Myzel could actually be able to full wall before the scouts now with some quick gates and stuff here. And there's Myzel full wall. This is gonna, unless there's a hole somewhere, this is gonna stop Lightcorbo from any effective field aggression here. Three scouts forward now, but spears already out for myself. I actually had 3 militia stored in his barracks as well going forward, so it's going to be a very late some kind of push. Lightcorbo actually failing to realize the spears were going for him here, and scouts have done nothing for now. Some are going forward with the army scout, that's 3 militia and a few spears and an eagle, and Lightcorbo as a response is walling, but I believe Myzel, if he goes in the right direction here, he will be able to get in and make some damage here. He goes straight for the berries. So very, very late kind of rush here from Myzel. Let's have a look on this side. Lightcorbo forced to garrison. This villain is building a blacksmith here, but Myzel's army will not be able to deny that. Nice quick wall foundations here from Lightcorbo is really limiting the action these units can do from Myzel. Not really any upgrades on these guys though. So, but their man-at-arms kicks in actually, but he needs to stay clear of TC fire here. So Myzel keeps adding man-at-arms. He is going to be stuck in Feud Lake for a while here. But that goes for Lightcorbo as well, who has been investing into a few scouts and some military buildings here and there. So we're seeing feudal fighting for a while longer. Populations here, it's pretty even. The village count is pretty much the same. Lightcorbo going for some extra scouts here. Does he have upgrades? He doesn't have any upgrades, so he can't really challenge. Well, he can challenge 2 spears, but he's taking HP losses and he's losing now 3 of its scouts already. But Myzel being more of an annoyance than making real damage here. So of course getting some kills in, it's 5-5 in the KD. Village counts the same, Myzel is slightly more military, but also more gold intensive considering he's been making men-at-arms. So let's see how he's still be disposing his economy in a way that he should be the first one to click cast stage here. And Lightcorbo is adding some archers now, probably to deal with this push famine. Okay, 2 very close mining camps here from Myzel, but he can effectively mine from both sides, so why not? He does have a lot of wood to spend. He could also consider making more production buildings or something like that. He's already floating a lot of wood now. Maybe you should consider adding adjusting a bit to the market or something as need be. So Myzel wasting his Eagle Scout here now, but I guess he has gained more she needs at this moment. He's also been successfully keeping his Hans playing opponent at home here with his men at arms and spears going forward, and kept adding men at arms, which now he's going for the Eagle Scouts here. Maybe looking to raid or just to scout the map even more. And adding some stone walls for extra security against. Although, yeah, it's stone walls. Keep the mobile Hans player out. They're in pretty close uptimes to cast stage here. They will, Myzel will reach it 10% earlier, but still pretty even in terms of the villagers and populations and everything here. Myzel has gone to stone, something that Lightcorbo hasn't. So since Lightcorbo seems to be going for archers or then to be crossbows, then going to stone like this allows already for defensive towers or even more TCs. He could go for a 4 TC boom here, Myzel, if he wants to. A little forward over here now, fletching and defense is in for the archers, scouts. But what's this gonna do against stone walls and this kind of stuff? Myzel adding 2 monasteries now. So he always adds his monks, but maybe now he expects some kind of cavalry switch from his opponent in Catholic. So actually no crossbow upgrade for Lightcorbo, is going straight for the cab archers instead. I think that mobility is actually gonna work in his favor against, for example, monks and other infantry units. He backs off now because of the monk, but will collect his army here and take a good fight against the spears and eagles here, I think. So Myzel already with 3 monks out. He cleans up the scouts here and Lightcorbo sends his cav archers back. So now going for relics, Aztecs, they do get 5 extra. Where is it? Relic. Relics enjoy 20% more gold for Aztecs, so there's always a great idea to try to go for all of the relics as Aztecs if you can. Lightcorbo goes for the cavalry archer approach. He needs to break in somewhere. Maybe we'll see some forward mangonels or rams added at some point. Now adding light cav as well. He knows that Myzel has the monks in the back here, so adding light cav is certainly a good idea. Let's see here. Just passing. Cav archers going for these monks will certainly die to the cav archer fire, but 1 conversion is in. But I think that's going to be about it. The mangonel goes down, Myzel's eagles go down, and the villager count is suddenly 21 to 5 for Lightcorbo. However, Lightcorbo still needs to break into Myzel's base to do some significant damage here. Spots the houses, he needs to prevent the peak walling as well if this is going to work. And Another stone wall foundation coming back here. Can we target these builds to neglect the walls? Yeah. And also just the gold here, so takes Myzel off 1 gold pile here, but of course he has gold back here as well. That's Mangonel is taking a good hit on the Cavachers here, but it's not vital. Nice with the monks in the background now, getting potential conversions again. 1 knight is converted, and Scorpion is added. Should be an easy snipe for the Cavachers though, but Lightcorbo chooses to back off again. Another TC added from Myzel, that will be his 4th TC now. Securing his 3rd gold, actually very nice. Nice starting map from Myzel with his golds. Needs to focus on the monks here now. That's 100 gold easily lost if they are focused down, and they are. Now they're dodging the Mangonel. Lightcorbo taking 2 hits there, but that's no big deal overall. Myzel still able to defend with monks and Mangonels nicely at his home base and the stone walls obviously. He is very much restricted to his home base, but his opponent isn't allowed to get in and get some kills either. Now some barracks added from Myzel here. He may want to go for the eagles. Lightcorbo just running around. Focusing on the builders now, gets even more villager kills here now, and with a huge boom lead with 90 to 76 villagers here. Lightcorbo still looking for an opening, but needs to focus now with more siege and monks here. Takes that hit, but the Cavachers are kind of tanky with the armor and the attack here, so they could actually survive this 1 Mangonel hit. But there are 1 Mangonels in the back here, and I'm sure there will be more monks added as well. They're in production here. Huge build tree for Lightcorbo though, it's lots of Cavacher here, so if you can get those to the critical numbers, get to the Imperial Age and get them to heavy Cavachers, that's gonna be tough to push back for Myzel. Nice dodges from Lightcorbo here. He's focusing down 1 Mangonel, 2 Mangonels, 3 Mangonels, and a villager. KD very much Lightcorbo's favor here. He's keeping his army numbers pretty high here, 36. He will be hitting Imperial Age, and Myzel is not able to pick up yet. He could sell wood and buy food to make the click faster, but he keeps adding military Mangonels and monks instead. That's nice. Now some forward siege for Lightcorbo. Hunts do get siege ram, so let's see how. I think his eco might be able to afford the siege ram. These pikes are going forward. They're not going to do much against the Cavachers here. Lightcorbo losing 1 unit to conversion here, but in exchange he gets lots of fighting kills here. He should be running away, and he will get even less, take even less losses from the pikes, but still a decent fight here. Loses 3 to 4 shots to a Mangonel shot there. It's okay, Lightcorbo can't be looking here. Rams being added, more Cav archers coming forward, and even a monk being denied the relic here. Relic count only 1 relic from Myzel for now. But he spends lots of gold on Mangonel and some monks that they are just dying away to Lightcorbo's army here. Capped ram now in the making. No siege run yet, but Captain Ryan might just do it. He only needs to, Lightcorbo needs to break through here, and that's about it. Then he can do some severe damage to his opponent's base. Myzel has expanded to the sides. He's adding a sneak place with barracks and siege workshop in the corner now, but it's beginning to look really hard in Mobile. Still some monks here. If he has redemption, he could actually convert the siege here, and that would help a little bit, but there's still the issue of 18 cavalry archer and light cab running into raid any moment now. Now the light cab should focus on the monks, or the siege, of course. Nice move there from Myzel to garrison his monks to save most of them inside TC. But I don't see how he withstands this push now with 5 Captrams running in. Myzel is getting ballistics, but he doesn't really have any range units. And TC will go down. This castle will actually go up, which is good news for myself. Until Lightcorbo can bring in tracks, of course. So heavy cab archers into Lightcorbo. Sheriff now going for it, and also some Myzel added the Jaguar warriors to try to fight off the siege here, but this castle will most definitely go down, and then what does Myzel do? He's only got a few TCs left. He's still taking some gold here, but he's now down to 79 villagers, and he's also out-militarized here, and he's losing lots more units than that's what well, the monsters will go down, and then maybe that will be the GG moment for Myzel, but he can't produce his monks anymore. Looks over a long time ago, yeah, but you know, Myzel he doesn't give up. So he deserves the honorable mention there. Trying a little bit of push here, but that's not really gonna do much. A few battering rams and some pikes here. Another monastery goes down. Now, military count not that uneven, but should be very huge difference in eco that Cole just floats so much more resources. He could place almost 2 more castles already. He leads with this push easily, even with no army at home. And surely it has to be called a GG here very soon. At this point, I think Lightcorbo is wondering why isn't he calling the GG? And there the GG is called, and it's 1-0 to Lightcorbo. So Myzel's Aztecs didn't work out for him this time. I think he's a little bit sad after this game. He doesn't lose with Aztecs all that much, at least not in this tourney. He's had some good Aztecs performances, but maybe we'll see him reconsidering Aztecs for Arabia after matches like this. So huge lead on all points for Lightcorbo, honestly. KD almost double, larger army, and eco as well. So moving on to game 2 very soon. So for game 2 we have Myzel's home map, which is Serengeti. So let's see what we have in store for this one. So here we go. For game 2 we have Myzel picking Goths for Serengeti, his home map. So Serengeti, also like Desert Crop overall, a very desert-like map. They're more Arabia-like in style, that they have arid terrain and zebras and desert kinds of animals for hunt. But for Serengeti you have lots of hunt. So you have 5 zebras and 3 ostriches and the elephant, only 1 elephant though, and then you have the starting sheep and berries and whatnot. So Myzel with the Goths, not a bad option on an open map like this. It's very hard to wall, as you can see these open spots between woodlands here. But then we have Lightcorbo in the purple playing as Mongols. So Mongols has to be considered maybe the strongest sib of all on Serengeti, because they have so much mobility in scouts opening. They get extra food, 40% extra food from hunt, so they gather food more quickly, which means you could go up at even maybe 17 population if you want to, and go for some very early scouts opening, and then later on you have the mobility with Mangudai, the unique unit, as a quickly firing cab archer made for castles though. Or you could make step lancers or knights or camels. There are just so many options, and the late game is pretty crazy for Mongols with all of their both trash and siege options and everything. They have a unique bonus for siege, making the siege moving 50% faster, so then the routes just run all the way in the map, like much more quickly than usual. So Lightcorbo already pushing in the deer here. I'm assuming a scout's opening for him, but let's see. Zebras are really hard to steer sometimes. Now milling the other hunter instead of going, actually mill the berries as well. So that probably wants a really strong 20 pop villager, but the scout almost goes down to Myzel's Drusher. Myzel is working on being full walled here. I think he may be able to pull it off in time, we'll see. Goths, however, only get palisade walls, so it's only an option that will last you so long. Now idling is militia here, barracks being added, and we will... I think it will go up in time, and then we will likely see the stable being added as well. Lightcorbo is off berries, but that's not too big of a deal, since he's also milling hunt over here. But he may very well lose his initial scout here now, which will hurt his scouts follow up for the later game, if that is indeed displayed. So there's the stable and some house walls, now keeping the Drush out from Myzel there. The scout still being annoying though. I would love to see a spear added here just to deal with that one. You might need them anyway. table will already be quite delayed for Lightcorbo here, and his early fuel time not paying off all just as much. But Myzel also hasn't clicked up to fuel age yet, so a scout's play might still have some merit here. So 3 scouts in queue. But Myzel, impressively enough, is able to wall off his whole Serengeti map here. And very ambitious walling, but in reward he gets 2 golds safe. He has all of his 4 woodlines within his walls, and it's generally Myzel's, no, Lightcorbo's scouts aren't really gonna do anything at this point. So with the Myzel's eco now, he's very devoted to fuel age here. His only added womb farm is pretty heavily on berries now. He is also may also be running out of hunt here. But finally Myzel is going up, and he is going for a 33 pop fuel age. The barracks is up though, so he's now queuing militia, he's unqueuing them again, adding a second barracks. So now let's see what Lightcorbo's scouts can accomplish here. I don't think Lightcorbo has any intel on his opponent at all, because he was pushing gear early on, so it's not so much to do here. He's gathering all these scouts now. That will be 5 scouts total. He is had some idle time due to Myzel's rush, and he's now that Myzel is reaching full age very soon, Lightcorbo will still be 2 or 3 villagers behind. Now looking to break through, this will most certainly be repaired or thick wall. And yeah, there's another gate behind here for Myzel. Now Lightcorbo is splitting up his scouts. He, at the very least, is going to be on the wing and force quick walls from his opponent. And some idle time as a result from Myzel here. Myzel now going for the stone. So he needs to get a castle up for the unique tech of Goths to kick in to produce much faster from the barracks, but we also should deal with this and not allow the scouts to let in. Let's see if this villager will be able to quick wall in time. I believe it will. Now also some spears coming in from the side here to deal with Lightcorbo's forward. But it looks like Lightcorbo has the best setup for going to cast age first for the moment. He's not investing anything more in military. Myzel actually isn't either, but he does have some men-at-arms garrison here. But these scouts will surely go down if they try to run down. Now the Goth spam has already begun. It's 10-minute drought for Myzel now. There's 2 barracks, none of them producing anymore at the moment. Lightcorbo is also closing in on Castle Age. He tries to get some walls up here, but I don't think he will be able to stop this forward in time. It makes sense to have an archery range because you're having military center 2, infantry center 2, but if you have enough men-at-arms, they can also take out production buildings rather easily. Another range production being placed here by Lightcorbo, researching Castle Age. So if he can get to crossbow, he has some decent means of defending here, but his production also needs to stay up, and this is already 10 infantry units even without upgrades, they are nearly taking this range out. So with enough damage, you also can't garrison inside the range here. So once the archer is produced, he actually won't be garrison inside, and he has to just abandon this range. Puts up another house wall though. And does not give up on archer production, but right now it looks like Myzel committing to the feudal play is in a stronger position. Will they break through here? No. But there's an opening, unfortunately, here. But it goes right towards the TC, so on just a garrison here, and Lightcorbo will maybe get some hits in. Nice crit walls as well from Lightcorbo here. So we forces the infantry here to stay close to the TC, and meanwhile he has some scouts attacking in the to try to get into Myzel's base, but doesn't look great now. Cast Mage is in for Lightcorbo. Myzel still far-ish away from picking up. Dangerous move here from Myzel, moving so close to Lightcorbo's TC. I think he might lose most of his manpower here. He's losing his forward, but I'm sure he will be adding more military soon enough. Now we're close to picking up. There's the cast late pick for Myzel as well. Population's pretty much the same. Military a bit more for Lightcorbo now, but the military count actually in Myzel's favor, even with being in feudal age still. Lightcorbo he's been forced to make production buildings, so he's committed wood to that rather than on more TCs. At the moment he is able to afford more TCs, should he choose to. And there's one TC dropped already. And Lightcorbo's forward scouts get lost again to a few streets from Myzel here. Lightcorbo expanding a bit, taking a new woodland his side here, while he has some crossbows going forward and forcing now a defensive tower from Myzel. And arguably Lightcorbo has a stronger eco overall. He's killed a lot more units and he's expanding with now his third PC, so maybe we'll see Lightcorbo running away a bit in terms of eco. Myzel adding a secondary lumber camp here, a bit exposed to archer fire here. Castle from Myzel now. Good move against crossbow forwards. They get not an optimal placement in terms of protecting resources, but he needs the castle for quicker barracks production and potentially has cards as well. Now with the count spiking up for Lightcorbo with his 3 TCs now. Myzel only just now adding his second TC. And it's pretty confined to his home base here. Now another few more meltdowns going forward. I believe he's now adding Huskarls. Great move against Archer forward here. They will tank a lot of arrows, and I'm sure these two meltdowns are just going forward to annoy a little bit. So should this game go to late game, I would favor Goths a little bit against Mongols, actually, because it would be so easy for the Mongols to spam all kinds of, no, for the Goths to spam all kinds of counters to Mongols. They have Huskarls against ranged units, they have such high piece armor, they can take a lot of hits, but then there's also the barracks working a lot faster with the unique tech, 100% faster, I believe, with unique tech, and also team bonus, so 120% faster with the unique tech, which means any mounted units Lightcorbo would send forward could be easily countered with mass trash from the Goths player. This seems like either Myzel is building up a huge forward here, or is just neglecting his enemy a bit. For just allowing Lightcorbo to boom away now. Is Myzel is already 15, 16 villagers behind, and he's not really doing anything to set his opponent back anymore. And the KD is negative for Myzel, and I'd like to see a forward. So there's some rams in the Siege Workshop. I have a home for Myzel. Maybe he needs to transport Huskarl to the rams, I'm not sure. Lots of crossbows forward for Lightcorbo here. The problem is Myzel in exchange had lots of Huskarls, they will deal easily with these archers. It's going to be tougher for the Huskarls with the knights here, but that's only 3 knights, that's not really a huge issue. But instead of using his army here at home, Myzel decides to go forward with his Huskarls and rams instead, and I believe this might catch Lightcorbo by surprise here. There are quite a few knights here though to challenge the Huskarls, but let's see what happens here. So longswords in the rams and Huskarls in the field. The knights doing a good job against the Huskarls, so they are after all the counter here, but Lightcorbo goes to GG, and means Myzel takes his home map win. Lightcorbo didn't succeed with his early forward because he was disturbed by Myzel's crush, and this sets the score to 1-1. Identical KD, identical buildings raised and lost, and more or less identical army, but Myzel only going stronger as the game goes on, and reaching Castle Age already makes it difficult for the Mongol player. Fascinating updates here, but Myzel didn't really need to rush it because he secured his home base from scouts forward of Lightcorbo by walling off his entire economy. It's a very ambitious wall here, but it pays off for him. So looks like we're going to game 3 here, and it's 1-1 indeed. So then we're going to game 3 of Myzel versus Lightcorbo. We have Sahara on our hands. That is Lightcorbo playing in the purple, who has chosen Sahara as his home map. So Sahara, big desert field in the middle, a few resources here and there, some wood and some of the players' own resources, and then there's some neutral scattered close to it. These maps have standard resources, but the wood is spread to the sides of it, so you need to expand to get food access in the long run. So very open here for both players actually, in front of their bases towards the hills, so you could wall your sides rather easily, but the fronts would call for some more extensive walling. Players spawn pretty close, I would say, both on the same side here, so it's not like you have to walk all over to the far side. This could actually benefit the Frank's player on an open map like this, because you could use the mobility and just get the hits in very early. And I think both players would struggle to full wall their maps in time for early aggression, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm gonna fast forward a bit. Myzel a bit more lucky with the gold generation here. They are kind of to the side and to the back, whereas Lightcorbo, well, he has one safe in the back here, but his main goal is forward and very near hill. So some German in-game chat here. I think they paused because Lightcorbo's brother or something. I don't know German. Barracks going up from Myzel here. Could be a scout's opening, we'll see. It remains to be seen. And we see the ambitious walling again, but Lightcorbo this time getting in, securing some valuable scout insights here. It does not attempt to delay the walling here. None of the builds were weak, but they were also loomed. But Myzel once again full walled before Field Age, except from the backside here, which I believe he has scouted. No, actually, this could be an issue. Because Myzel has scouted this, he might think that this is a full wood line. So, only this side open for Lightcorbo now, so if it is... yeah, it's Militia and Spearman out for Myzel, so not your typical scouts opening. Probably a better move by now, since his opponent is full walled, and that would make it easier for them to enter through walls. So military counts dead even here, more military for Myzel though. Lightcorbo was saying that his brother was interrupting and that he's sorry, and Myzel said no problem, I wanna have 100 gold as a tribute. Ah, that's a good one. Now the stable for Myzel. And this initial scout causing some trouble here in Lightcorbo's base, actually delaying the last part of Lightcorbo's wall, where does in fact have connecting wood lines here. But he's delaying the walls. Myzel did already get the villager kill here. But his army, where is his army? Here they come. So with any luck now, Myzel, okay, isn't able to delay it in time, unfortunately. But Still gonna be forcing some prequels here with the infantry forward here, and the scout who can run around and be a nice one. Myzel actually going straight for the blacksmith here. And takes a strange fight here against the villager, because that's a scout suicide basically. But again, forcing some prequels, forcing some repairs. That's gonna cost Lightcorbo some wood here, but he isn't in any trouble with the wood situation just yet. And now definitely setting a Seacock for crossbowmen to come. A bit of a risky delete there, since it could have allowed Myzel's army to move in at the exact point, but you aren't. Myzel isn't psychic either, so he couldn't really know that that was going to happen, and second rage will blow up safely with Lightcorbo without any bad disturbances here. So what's going on with Myzel? He's adding a blacksmith on his own, he has the stable. He's stuck in feudal age for a bit. He's closing very much in on taking Castle Edge himself. Now with 37 pop as opposed to Lightcorbo's what I think was 29. But the crossbows are in production, and from both ranges actually, and should put Lightcorbo in a good position to push Myzel's side, who has only palisade walls up for now. Second stable app for Myzel is getting the skateboarding armor now. Certainly seems to want to go for a knight play, but he will be needing some siege as well against these archers numbers. Again, we see some very equal players here in terms of eco management and villager production, keeping the production constant. Wheelbarrow now and a villager queued up for Myzel, but Myzel with the villager lead, and the population is pretty much the same. A bit more military for Lightcorbo though, who also has the extra range for Britons here. They get +1 range in Castle Age and Imperial each. What I would love to see Lightcorbo scouting though is that there is in fact an opening over here, but I think none of the players are aware of this. The fact that this Lightcorbo actually knows, so we could be seeing some sneaking in here. That would be nice to see, but it's also a long walk around, so maybe not. Any player would actually assume that your opponent would wall this at some point. This villager is dead meat, most likely. There we go. And a few knights out for Myzel, but at the moment the crossbows should be able to handle this easily. So double stable production sustained here by Myzel. Lightcorbo's archers hesitating to go in, just being annoying for now. He's probably wanting more numbers before he takes engagement. He's also housed, but that doesn't help production at all. He is on 2 TCs for now. Myzel actually at the same. Of course, adding siege at hope, knowing that masses of archers will inevitably be coming here. Knights running forward here, but they need to back off from this crossbows, because these crossbow masses can handle smaller groups of knights, but also lacking ballistics is hard to hit these moving targets like the knights. So Myzel shouldn't take the fight, but he shouldn't be too worried either before ballistics actually kicks in for Lightcorbo. Scores virtually identical here now, which counts pretty even, but huge army for Lightcorbo is going for the archers. Myzel might really want to try a push here now. Now he has 2 Magdalas coming. I don't think Lightcorbo knows about the siege workshop at all. So is this a debate here? Is he trying to lure the archers down from the hill and straight into Magdalene fire here, Myzel? Oh, it's a beautiful shot! Big boom there. Wow. So that's lots of, probably 8 or 10 crossbow down just like that, and suddenly that's a much better fight for Myzel's knights, who are getting even more juicy Magdalene shots in there. This is amazing Magdalene micro right here. And Lightcorbo desperately trying to use Britain range here to focus down Magdalenes, but oh, wow, has he taken losses. The KD is now 31 to 15 for Myzel from these hits, and it's fantastic value even losing his knights and Magdalenes to this. This means Lightcorbo needs to mass his army once again. He's not really in a position to go forward now, even knowing that he's killed off a lot of Myzel's forward as well, in addition. So where does he go from here? He keeps adding the crossbows. He's sending them straight to the hill, which is a good move, I think, to just have them camping the hill there and have some grasp of what the opponent is sending. Some very good scouting on the map for Lightcorbo as well. Both players have a very good grasp of the map overall here now. But who is... So there would be another siege push from Myzel here. He has the 1-3 producing a monk again. So we see monks and Magdalenes and some more knights going for it now with the +2 defense, +1 attack. So they're lacking that attack, but the defense of course for melee units being the most important. I think Lightcorbo needs to add more ranges to match Myzel's forwarding and production area. If he has a crucial amount of archers, he could challenge Magdalenes more easily, I think. Or at the very least, he's adding pikes to deal with knights, and pikes could kind of deal with Magdalenes as well, but it's not ideal. He should consider adding a stable and some light cav or knights himself or whatnot. But Lightcorbo, less food and or more food and wood in the bank overall. Being slightly annoyed here, but by 1 melt arm from Myzel, but once the TC goes up, he can just garrison and be done with that one. And here comes another push from Myzel there. Let's see if he can get the same value from these 4 rats he did last game. Now even some scorpions in the mix that will provide some extra damage from the back, I believe. It's actually a very nice addition with scorpions here, since he should now expect there to be pikes in the mix. But Scorpion goes right down, so not much value there. The pikes have +2 defense, so the knights can't just challenge his knight just like that. But 1 Magna goes down. Can he get a good hit in here? Lightcorbo splits and he takes very few losses there. Takes a little hit there, but all things considered, that's a good fight for Lightcorbo. He takes out 2 Magdals, 2 Scorpions, no, 1 Scorpion, and Myzel's knights back off now. Myzel going for relics again, making use of his monks. But the KD speaks in Myzel's favor here. Resource-wise, it looks like Lightcorbo will be the first one to advance to the next stage. He is closing in on the Imperial Age cost here, but Myzel is already up, so never mind. That's why Myzel's resources were already so low. So that's bad news for Lightcorbo actually, since Myzel will be the first one to be able to add trebs, and tanks. Castles of course are known to be cheap, but no castles for Myzel yet. He's walled out both his stones. He's not even begun to gather stone, so either he needs to buy stone or he needs to start mining stone very soon to get some defensive or offensive castle type. Myzel even moving on for the neutral resources now. Always nice to have some extra gold, and Lightcorbo likely doesn't know about, at least he doesn't know it's being mined. He actually hasn't scouted this one. So should Lightcorbo succeed with the forward here and take Myzel off gold at home, then Myzel will still have a neutral gold to the sides. But the Imperial kicking in for Lightcorbo as well is adding more ranges and barracks now. Barracks obviously being for pikes against the knights are from, but military cavalier will be kicking in for Myzel at the moment. It's okay, it's only at 10% for now. But once cavalier kick in, they can pikes are suddenly not as dangerous. A castle coming up here. Arbalest will be in for Lightcorbo as soon as he reaches Imperial, I'm sure. But now, Myzel recognizing he's up, he will maybe try to force fight here. He can never deny this castle, but once he gets up a castle of his own and can challenge with some traps, he should be fine after all. So there's Imp for Lightcorbo, immediately taking Halberdier and the infantry attack upgrade here, while adding more crossbows and so on, and Arbalest obviously being researched. Myzel taking a fight before Cavalier here, under Castle Fire. Now he really should back off in my opinion. If he circles the archers, takes this fight, but their Cavalier kicks in, and suddenly this fight's against crossbows, and all of Lightcorbo's crossbow numbers go down before they can become Arbalest. That's a very nice gang sense from Myzel there, just negating all of that army before it's even being upgraded. Let's see if Myzel can break through here now. If he can get into Lightcorbo's base, I think it's looking very good for Lightcorbo. Now it's still producing lots of stuff. He's taking the capped ram, maybe he wants to take out some production here. He can't, still isn't on stone for anything, so building a castle isn't an immediate option, but capped rams can certainly take out castles and production as well. And now we're looking at the army count. Myzel, that's at 33, Lightcorbo is at 16, and of course increasing. I'd really like to see Myzel have some kind of counter to the Halberdiers as well, because now they will just melt to... No, I didn't think that fight would be that good either, because I thought Arbalest would kick in sooner, or that the Castle Fire would destroy much more of the cavalry. But Myzel kind of wasting Cavaliers here. Of course he has more waiting at home. That's 11 Cavaliers, 7 capped rams, and some light cav here as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see some monks added into the mix as well. And Also 3 relics for myself. That's many rams. 7 capped rams. I don't think Lightcorbo sees any of this. He doesn't know about the Siege Workshop. He knows there will be these guys, of course, but then there are even 200 swordsmen inside of Myzel's ramps. So shouldn't come to a fight that helps. The 200 swordsmen will do work there, but obviously the Arbels needs to be dealt with. But there's 62 military for Myzel now against Lightcorbo's 53. And the Rams soaking up fire here. The Cavaliers coming in from behind could take a decent engagement here. And look at the 200 swordsmen going for the Halberdiers here. And the Rams probably still soaking some archer fire here. But I think this is still a better fight for Myzel. It's so close to his base, he can add more army. Although this, of course, Monks again now almost converting an arbalest here. And now the Rams can freely move towards the castle to take it out, and Lightcorbo is down to 17, the 315, 14, 42. And with this amount of Rams, this castle should crumble like paper. So, Lightcorbo producing like this. They both have good economies to support production, but it takes time to rebuild military, and now it's 47 military for Myzel and 9 military for Lightcorbo. This castle will go down, and suddenly this eco will be, and production will be very much exposed. These rounds will take out 2 ranges just like that, and more Cavaliers could easily be sent in. Now, still 200 swordsmen. The castle is down. Now splitting out the rams to go for barracks and ranges here, and Cavalier handling the archers. Is this GG for Lightcorbo? Yes, it is. So GG, well played. Myzel takes the win, and it stands 2-1 for Myzel. It's a best of 3, so this set goes to Myzel. So Myzel winning by taking fantastic fights that can only come down to great game sense, and yeah, very well played overall. But I have to say that Lightcorbo also making a good performance. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Always more fun with a little bit of action in the chat. So that concludes today's Desert Cup cast, guys. So